Good evening. It is Friday, February 26th, and I'm going to be speaking on Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how that links to covert emotional incest. Before I begin, I would like you to know that I've been studying psychology since I was 12 years old. I did my first career test and was paired with the field and decided that I would make it a passion. I started with eating disorders, and they are here in these books. In order to be considered an expert at something, you must work 10,000 hours in the craft. I've spent countless hours researching because I didn't want to be mentally ill anymore. So I have turned over every book and article I can. I have now studied for 20 years. Whether I have a degree or accolade, I can say with confidence that I am an expert. It doesn't mean I know everything, but I do know this. Maslow's theory presents his hierarchy of needs in a pyramid shape with basic needs at the bottom of the pyramid and more high-level intangible needs at the top. A person can only move on to addressing the higher-level needs when their basic needs are adequately fulfilled. This article is from masterclass.com. So, the first of the ID-driven lower needs on Maslow's hierarchy are physiological needs. These most basic human survival needs include food and water, sufficient rest, clothing and shelter, overall health, and reproduction. Maslow states that these basic psychological needs must be addressed before humans move on to the next level of fulfillment. Safety needs are the second. Safety includes protection from violence and theft, emotional stability and well-being, health security, and financial security. Then we have love and belonging. The social needs on the third level of Maslow's hierarchy relate to human interaction and are the last of the so-called lower needs. Among these needs are friendship, family bonds, both with biological family, which are your parents, siblings, and children, and chosen family, spouses and partners. Physical and emotional intimacy, ranging from sexual relationships to intimate emotional bonds, are important to achieving a feeling of elevated kinship. Additionally, membership in social groups contributes to meeting this need, from belonging to a team of coworkers to forging an identity in a union, club, or group of hobbyists. Esteem needs, the higher needs, beginning with esteem, are ego-driven needs. The primary elements of esteem are self-respect, the belief that you are valuable and deserving of dignity, and self-esteem, confidence in your potential for personal growth and accomplishments. Maslow specifically notes that self-esteem can be broken into two types: esteem, which is based on respect and acknowledgement from others, and esteem, which is based on your own self-assessment. Self-confidence and independence stem from this latter type of self-esteem. Self-actualization needs are the last, and it describes the fulfillment of your full potential as a person. Sometimes called self-fulfillment needs, self-actualization occupy the highest spot on the pyramid. Self-actualization needs include education, skill development, the refining of the talents in areas such as music, athletics, design, cooking, and gardening, caring for others, and broader goals like learning a new language, traveling to new places, and winning awards. Maslow referred to self-actualization as a growth need, and he separated it from the lower four levels of his hierarchy, which he called deficiency needs. According to this theory, if you fail to meet your deficiency needs, you'll experience harmful or unpleasant results. Conditions ranging from illness and starvation to loneliness and self-doubt are the byproducts of unmet deficiency needs. By contrast, self-actualization needs can make you happier, but you are not harmed when these needs go unfulfilled. Thus, self-actualization needs only become a priority when the other four foundational needs are met. I would like to acknowledge the color system here. It's only a 5-tier pyramid But I'd like to believe that the throat, third eye, and crown are used in actualization. Physiological needs are the root chakra. Safety needs are the sacral chakra. Love and belonging, the color belongs to solar plexus, and esteem, the color green, belongs to the heart chakra. But I will ignore this slight mix-up because this was written in 1943. And lastly, the blues are the third eye, and crown. Physiological needs are safety and are basic. Love and esteem are psychological, and self-actualization is self-fulfillment and ultimately self-love. So how can I tie this into covert emotional incest? Well, everyone should actually be self-actualized by the time they leave their parents' nest. Seems like no one is, and wherever their parents fail is where that person will be stuck. The longer that individual is left in that deficiency, they tend to go lower into the pyramid. At some point in 2019, I ended up in a church program for the homeless. I talked to everyone, just about. There were some that were severely antisocial, so I'll admit I avoided. But everyone in that church program was mentally ill. Everyone, including me. I had the pastor actually approach me for counsel because he was confused and curious and wanted to know how I ended up there. I didn't act like or look like the rest. I assured him that I was a recovering addict like the roommate I had, and on disability like his favorite guest. No different. I just carried myself differently. They would literally line up for my attention when I got back from work, each telling me their stories for the day, each stuck on a different problem. Eventually, this became so draining, I had to leave the program and go back to living in my car. Everyone's story was like mine. Dads who exposed themselves to their daughters, abusive husbands and wives, drug abusers, overbearing parents were everywhere, people who were literally enacting rebellion at 40 years old. We have heard the types of parents that enact this abuse. A romanticizing parent will leave their child lacking on the love and belonging tier, as that parent typically keeps the child from making friends and being a part of a crowd. A best friend type of parent will leave their child lacking on the esteem tier. That parent is so cool that usually all the friends are accepted no matter what, and the child actually will have many friends, but not really respectful friends. And a critical abusive parent leaves their child lacking in the safety tier. The more severely abusive leaves their child in the physiological tier, never meeting the most basic of needs. Here's what's very important to understand. A parent is required to provide you with literally all of this. When you leave their house, you should leave self-actualized. You should have all 4 of these things met, and you should have hobbies and self-fulfillment on lock. A way, especially in the Black community, to undermine this work is to kick their child out at 18 before they have any real bearings in life, typically affecting every level of this pyramid. This particular article I chose makes actualization seem so basic, like it's just about hobbies and interests. You can easily live in a car and travel and still be lacking in every other tier. You can cook, because that satisfies a basic need. However, it's when you pair it with creativity, problem solving, and create a business with it. What other articles describe self-actualization to be is morality, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts, creativity, and spontaneity. If you are enacting emotional incest upon your children, you actually have a conflict of morality you are unaware of. If I tell you about it and you deny me, then you have an issue with accepting facts as I continue to drop them. If you are schooling me on self-love and you are obese, then you are lacking in safety. If you are telling me about self-love and have no healthy adult relationships, you are lacking in love. Listen, folks, very few are self-actualized. I have not met anyone personally. I have not seen anyone in the media. Listen, here's an example. Will Smith should have left his wife. He and his wife, as enlightened as they seem, don't have respect for each other. Unhappy marriage for life, my ass. Neither are fulfilled. And clearly, I can see the breakdown. A mama's boy is paired with a mama's girl who had a drug problem. These people aren't actually healed at all. They're no goals of mine. Nowhere here does self-love come before any of this. Having a house, having a car are basic needs. Everyone deserves them, and it is not a lack of self-love that causes them not to have it. You must have it before you have self-love. It's right here. It has been studied. It is science. The pursuit of possessions and homes is just that, a pursuit of possessions and homes. Once you have stability, you then get to love others, and then esteem, and then self-love. Y'all are ass backwards. You cannot love yourself if you have not received it from another. After a long time, other tiers begin to suffer from the lack. And essentially, the person has to start all over. I have started over and over and over. At this point, I haven't really done much to start over again because I've really just been sitting here doing these videos. I'm exhausted. I'm very exhausted. I haven't been able to get past tier 3. And really, honestly, the longer it took me to get past tier 3, it took me back down to tier 2 where I have emotional problems. I have mental health issues. So now we have to fix the safety needs and the emotional stability and well-being. So, no shame to anyone. I'm right here with you. It's just that you've all spent so many years pointing out what's wrong with me. It's time for me to point out what's wrong with you. See, because what's wrong with me is what's wrong with you, which is keeping me from reaching tier 3. Tier 3 is really hard for me because we have these fake notions that we've created. And I just need y'all to stop that so that I can get past tier 3. Please. And thanks. So anyway, I have never had my psychological needs met. I'm now estranged from nearly my entire family, both adopted and biological, for nearly 2 years. And they didn't really fuck with me like that anyway. If you are experiencing subtle abuse, it's an uphill battle. And that is what I've experienced for the last decade. I'm exhausted. I really don't have anything to pour into myself right now, so I'm just resting. Love is not a luxury. It is essential for growth and development. Our current rhetoric is to love yourself before someone can love you. This psychological model shows that simply isn't true. Covert emotional incest is conditional love. Our parents only loved us if we did our sports. Parents only loved us if we looked good. Our parents only loved us if we did something for them to make them look good. I mean, covert emotional incest basically sets a tone for conditional love. And that is the root to the self-love independent mantra. Now, I do understand that if your parent left you out and they didn't do what they were supposed to, it is up to you to get it together. So that's cool, But at this point, I'm just too tired to do anymore. I'm just tired. That's all.